Hello, and welcome to the English Channel, a simple space for curious minds and growing English skills.
This deep dive is designed, for you taking that material,
Yeah.
giving you a shortcut, really, to understanding language that helps you sound more natural.
And understand native speakers better, yeah.
Yeah,
And navigate those specific daily life and workplace scenarios.
that's right. Because, well, we all know learning single words is just the start, isn't it? Real fluency, it comes from understanding how English is actually used, in conversation.
Especially those tricky bits like phrasal verbs,
Yeah.
idioms, common expressions.
Mm-hmm. And the sources you gave us are great because they just jump right into that practical side of things.
Absolutely. So our mission today basically is to unpack the most useful nuggets from all this material you sent over. We're going to start by looking at how people talk about their morning routines, getting the day started.
Right? Then we'll explore phrases tied to the seasons, different times of the year.
Then we'll tackle a topic that can be a bit sensitive, but it's part of everyday chat. How people talk about age.
And we'll cover some really essential vocabulary for polite interactions, especially, like you said, in the workplace.
Yeah, navigating those formal situations.
We'll also look at specific situations like vocabulary you might need if you go to the dentist.
Oh, that's a useful one.
And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a set of really versatile expressions, things you can use in all sorts of daily situations.
Okay, so the goal is really to put all these phrases into context for you, helping you see not just what they mean, but how they're used, and why they're important for, well, sounding more like a native speaker.
Ready to dive in?
Let's do it. So starting the day, morning routines, the sources had a great breakdown, beginning right with that sound, the one that breaks the peace.
The alarm, yeah. And the phrasal verb everyone uses is alarm goes off.
Simple, but that's just what people say, right?
Exactly. Goes off means it starts making noise.
And the classic reaction, for many of us anyway.
Hit snooze. Definitely. You press the button. Yeah, but the phrase just captures that feeling, doesn't it? Just a few more minutes.
Which sometimes leads to feeling like you have to roll out of bed.
Yeah, it's not literal rolling, but it paints that picture, Reluctant, maybe still half asleep.
Or worse, you missed the alarm entirely and you overslept.
Right. Note that T sound at the end. Overslept.
Good point. The material also highlighted frequency adverbs here.
Mm-hmm. Like, if something happens only sometimes, you might say every now and then.
Every now and then I hit snooze, like that.
Exactly. Or every now and then I treat myself and sleep in.
But if it's usual, most of the time,
Then you use more often than not. More often than not, I wake up before the alarm.
these phrases really do make descriptions of habits sound more, well, natural.
Yeah, they add nuance. And speaking of habits, the sources mentioned describing people. You've got your morning person.
Someone who actually likes mornings.
Yeah, and is productive then, versus an early riser who just gets up early. Maybe they don't enjoy it.
Ah, okay, there's a difference. And that old saying, the early bird catches the worm.
Right, the idea that being early gives you an advantage. It's a common proverb you'll definitely hear.
Okay, so moving into the getting ready phase.
The sources showed phrasal verbs like take off and put in.
For glasses or contacts, right?
Exactly. Take off your glasses, put in your contacts.
And for quick actions, like showering,
You might hop in the shower. Informal means go quickly.
like hopping on one foot.
No, just speed. And simple things like put hair up or brush teeth. Standard stuff.
Gotta watch the sound and teeth, though.
Good point. Then you pick out clothes, select them.
And get dressed. That sounds like it ends in a tease dress.
It does. And if you're tidy, you make the bed.
Okay.
Pull up the covers, make it neat.
Okay, what about families, kids?
Ah, yeah, the routine changes. You wake up the kids.
And then you might help them get ready.
Exactly. And that phrase, help them get ready, it covers so much, doesn't it? Making breakfast, packing bags, finding shoes.
Right, it's a catch-all.
There's also that cheerful, maybe slightly old-fashioned way to wake someone. Rise and shine.
A bit like a rooster crowing.
Sort of. And if someone's grumpy,
Ah, they wake up on the wrong side of the bed. That's a classic idiom.
really common for just being in a bad mood first thing.
Food preparation, if it's quick.
The sources used whips up something, like she whips up some pancakes. Speed is key.
Or throw together some lunches. Also implies speed, maybe not gourmet standard.
Ah, definitely not. And if you're really rushed eating,
You scarf down breakfast, eat super fast.
yeah. And leaving the house, the sources mentioned some common American contractions.
They gotta get going instead of gotta get going.
Exactly. Or want to be late for want to be late. That often becomes a soft, chewed sound in fast speech. God, I wanna.
Good to listen out for those. And leaving itself.
You head out the door. Just means you leave.
And if you stay behind to wave goodbye.
You see them off. Like seeing someone off at the train station, but can be just at the front door.
Okay. What about people working from home after the others leave?
Might involve some tidying. Tidy up the kitchen. Put things away.
And planning the workday.
Often uses the phrasal verb plan out my day. You can say plan my day, but out adds a sense of thoroughness.
Got it. And a pronunciation point.
The word generally, usually 3 syllables.
Like
Generally, not generally.
Generally. Okay. People often find they get more work done in the morning.
Right. And that first task is often done first thing.
I answer emails first thing.
Exactly. Note there's no in the before it. First thing acts like an adverb phrase.
Interesting. And monitoring progress, like with students.
At the 3-part phrasal verb, check in on students.
Check in on
Okay. And finally, you tackle your
to-do list. The list of tasks for the day. You get started on your to-do list.
until you need to.
Take a break. Essential. Just means to rest for a bit.
Wow, so much language just for the morning.
It really is. The detail is amazing when you stop and look. Okay, so speaking of time passing, let's move from the morning to the wider year. Seasons. The sources had a brilliant section on seasonal vocabulary and idioms.
Yeah, and what's really cool is how many use nature metaphors for human stuff. Like in spring, you might hear spring has sprung.
Using sprung like jumped.
Exactly, like the season suddenly jumps into life after winter.
And the perfect spring day.
Not a cloud in the sky, beautifully clear.
But spring also means rain, which leads, ironically, to an idiom.
Yes, take a rain check. This is so common, it means reschedule or postpone something, usually an invitation.
So if I'm sick and can't make dinner, I ask to take a rain check.
Perfect, and it has nothing to do with actual rain.
Okay, this next one sounds really interesting. Nip it in the bud.
Yeah, it comes from gardening. You break off a flower bud early to stop it growing.
So the idiom means
Stop something bad when it's just starting, before it becomes a big problem.
the source example was about a child lying for the first time.
Right. You need to address that immediately. Nip that behavior in the bud. The image really helps you remember.
It does. There was another weather-related one about friends.
Ah, the fair weather friend. That's negative.
Meaning they're only around when things are good.
Exactly, like when the weather's fair. They disappear when things get tough.
The opposite being someone who sticks with you through thick and thin.
Right. Loyal, supportive, no matter what. Thick and thin means good times and bad times.
Okay, moving into summer. Heat.
Lots of ways to say it's hot. It's boiling, it's blistering hot, it's a scorcher, or just it's a hot one.
I'll mean uncomfortably hot.
Pretty much, yeah. And a period of that.
A heat wave, right.
Summer often means vacation. You can go on vacation.
Or say you're off on vacation, meaning not at work.
Correct. And a common trip is to head to the beach. Go to the beach.
And after all that sun.
You need to chill out. Relax.
Okay, fall or autumn. Cooler weather descriptions.
Brisk, meaning cool and invigorating. Crisp, often used for cool, fresh mornings. And blustery, which means very windy.
Makes you want to get cozy, maybe under a blanket.
Definitely. You hear the rustling of leaves.
That sound they make when they blow around or you walk on them.
Yeah. And the source mentioned carving pumpkins as a fall tradition.
More idioms from fall.
Yes. Squirrel will weigh something, just like squirrels hide nuts.
You hide something for later, often money.
Usually money, yeah. The example was finding $20 you'd squirreled away in a coat pocket from last winter.
Finding forgotten money is the best. Okay, next one.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Very common.
Meaning a child is similar to their parent.
Yes, usually in character or behavior. The example of kids loving to slide in leaf piles, just like their parent did, fits perfectly.
Got it. And unfortunately, fall can mean getting sick.
So you might feel under the weather. Not seriously ill, just not great, like having a cold.
Winter, then. The coldest part.
Often called the dead of winter. The example was asking if you'd swim, then highlights how intensely cold it is.
And an idiom about relationships.
The cold shoulder. Giving someone the cold shoulder means intentionally ignoring them, being unfriendly.
The source mentioned a sister doing it after a fight. Yeah, that can hurt.
It really can. Being ignored is tough.
What if you're stuck inside too long in winter?
You might get cabin fever, feeling restless, irritable, anxious from being cooped up.
The cure might be to brave the elements. Go outside even if it's cold.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to.
And the verb to snowball.
Comes from rolling a snowball, which gets bigger and bigger. It means something starts small but grows fast, usually negatively.
Like one snack purchase snowballing into a full shopping cart.
Exactly. Or a small lie snowballing into a huge mess.
Okay, last one for seasons. The tip of the iceberg.
Right, like you only see the small top part of an iceberg, but most of it is hidden underwater. It means the small, visible part of a much bigger, more complex issue or situation.
The example was being an English teacher.
Yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg compared to all the other things involved, making videos, marketing, running a business. It implies there's much more unseen, often used with just. That's just the tip of the iceberg,
Fascinating how much language is tied to nature and weather.
isn't it? It makes the idioms really memorable, I think.
Okay, let's shift gears. Talking about age. Can be sensitive, as we said, but the sources had useful phrases.
Yeah, and some interesting grammar points, too, like using age as an adjective versus just stating it.
Right. When it describes a noun like cashier, it's hyphenated. A 16-year-old cashier.
Exactly. 16-year-old.
Yeah.
All hyphenated, working as one descriptive unit, or a 4-year-old child.
But if you're just saying how old someone is,
No hyphens.
yeah,
And years is plural. He is 50 years old.
that's a really clear distinction, easy to get wrong.
Very. Another common phrase, especially in the U.S., get carded.
Asked for ID, for age-restricted stuff like alcohol.
Precisely. The sources mention it can happen even if you look, say, under 50, because laws are strict. And older people sometimes get a kick out of it.
Like a compliment. Okay, what about feel old?
That's totally subjective, isn't it? Not about your actual age, but a specific moment triggers it.
Like the cashier example, finding out the cashier's mom was born the same year as you. Ouch!
Yeah, that moment makes you feel old. Or seeing athletes younger than you, or friends' kids graduating.
Turning points that mark time passing.
Exactly. But then there's the opposite view. Age is just a number.
Meaning mindset matters more.
Right. It's about how you feel, your attitude, not just the calendar. Maybe ignoring the creaky knees.
And the simple verb to age, meaning just to get older.
Everyone ages. Simple fact.
And being young in heart.
That's being mentally, emotionally youthful, even if you're physically older. The sources suggested being around kids helps.
Keeps you playful.
Maybe. There's also that optimistic phrase, it's never too late.
For starting something new.
Yeah, the examples were great. Learning English at any age, or planting a tree. You can always start something valuable.
But there's a negative proverb, too. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Right, suggesting older people struggle to learn. It's a bit discouraging.
But the sources pushed back.
Yeah, emphasizing how vital it is to keep your mind young. Stay active, stay engaged. Puzzles, art, learning.
Which connects to that George Bernard Shaw quote.
We don't stop playing because we grow older. We grow older because we stop playing.
Wow. So staying playful and curious is key to feeling young mentally.
That's the idea. It's about engagement, not just chronology.
A really powerful thought. Okay, let's move into navigating formal situations. Politeness, especially at work.
Yeah, the sources gave really clear comparisons. Informal versus polite, and why the polite options are better.
Often about being less direct, right? Showing more respect.
Exactly. So, greetings. Avoid what's up in most professional settings.
Stick to how are you doing or how are you?
Right. Standard and safe. If someone needs help,
Don't say what do you want or what do you need. Sounds rude.
very abrupt. Use. How can I help? It's polite. Assumes they need assistance.
Telling someone to be quiet. Tricky at work.
Definitely avoid hush. Sure, the really rude. Shut up.
Use polite requests. Please be quiet or can you lower your voice?
Yeah, especially if it's noisy and disruptive.
Personal needs. Like using the restroom.
Need to be indirect. Avoid I have to pee. That's for friends or family, maybe.
At work, use I have to use the restroom or I have to use the bathroom.
Right. Restroom is maybe slightly more formal in the U.S. It's about discretion.
Apologies, the level of formality matters.
Big time. Sorry about that. Is okay for minor bumps, casual mistakes.
But for bigger work errors.
So you need to apologize for that.
Yeah.
It's more formal. Shows you take it seriously. Adding, it won't happen again is good too.
Using apologize signals more weight.
Exactly. What about checking understanding?
Asking, does that make sense? This ideal. People might just say yes.
Yeah, it can feel like a test. Better to invite real feedback. What are your thoughts? Or I'd like your opinion on this.
That encourages more discussion, reveals actual understanding.
Right. And if you don't understand,
Avoid, huh? Or what? Too blunt.
use polite requests for repetition or clarification. Can you repeat that? Or what do you mean by that? Longer phrases are often politer here.
Getting attention across the office.
Yeah, hey, too abrupt. Standard, polite way.
Even positive reactions need care.
Yeah, sweet is informal. Use, that's great, that sounds good, or
Right.
fantastic in professional contexts.
And addressing people.
Avoid informal stuff like dude, man, chick. Totally inappropriate, usually.
Use their name, first name, or Mr. M's last name, depending on the workplace culture.
Right. It varies, but those informal terms are almost always out. Mastering these polite forms really affects professional perception.
It really shows how context is everything. Okay, a specific scenario now. The dentist. Can be stressful, especially in another language.
Absolutely. And knowing the specific vocabulary can really lower that stress. The sources had great detail.
First step is always.
Make an appointment. Schedule it.
Then you go for a checkup or routine appointment. How often?
Sources mentioned once or twice a year is common in the U.S.
And part of that is usually.
You get your teeth cleaned, usually by the hygienist.
Okay, parts of the mouth.
Gums, always plural. And enamel the hard outer coating of the teeth.
And the people there.
The dental hygienist, or just hygienist, does most of the cleaning, polishing. Then the dentist does the main check, reads x-rays, does complex work. Their field is oral hygiene.
In the chair, they ask you to.
Sit back in the chair and open wide.
That classic awkward moment trying to answer questions with hands in your mouth.
Yeah. Routine care involves brushing, of course, using toothpaste, maybe a fluoride treatment to strengthen enamel.
And you need to floss teeth daily.
Right. At the end, you might gargle with water, then spit it out. Or they use that little vacuum tool.
Okay, now for problems. Pain is a...
Toothache, often caused by a cavity.
And sensitivity. Pain with hot or cold.
Yeah, often means decay is near the nerve, or the nerve is irritated.
A cavity, that's a hole from decay, pronounced cavati sometimes in the U.S.
Yeah, that's common. And the sources noted fillings can be expensive.
A filling is the material they put in the cavity.
After cleaning out the decay, yes. To repair the tooth.
A crown is like a cap for a weak or cracked tooth.
Exactly. Not the royal kind.
And the dreaded root canal.
That's when the decay is severe. They remove the inside of the tooth, the pulp, and the root, the part below the gum. Source said it sounds terrible.
It does. What about removing a tooth entirely?
That's an extraction. Or having a tooth pulled. Can be for decay or other reasons like baby teeth not falling out.
Wisdom teeth? Those back ones?
Often removed in the U.S., yeah. Claim is there's not enough room.
Needs anesthesia for painful stuff.
Right. Could be local anesthesia like Novocaine, just numbing the area. Or general anesthesia, which puts you to sleep.
Other things they clean off?
Plaque, that's soft buildup. And tartar, which is hardened plaque, they scrape it off.
Not the same as an award plaque.
Definitely not. Gum problems could be gingivitis, an infection.
And cosmetic stuff?
Whitening, making teeth whiter. Can be controversial, sources said. And braces to straighten teeth, common for U.S. teens.
That is super practical vocabulary. Okay, we've covered a lot. Morning, seasons, age, work, dentist. Let's wrap with some general, versatile phrases.
Yeah, these are great for adding flavor to everyday English. First up, pepper in.
Like adding salt and pepper, small amounts throughout.
Exactly. You can pepper in jokes into a talk, or the source mentions small shops peppered in through a neighborhood.
Okay, starting a conversation.
Strike up a conversation, like striking a match, starting something from nothing with someone you don't know well.
Like with a coworker in the break room.
Perfect example. Or a grocery store clerk.
Pick and choose, selecting carefully.
Yeah. It's a bit redundant. Pick and choose are similar, but it adds emphasis. You pick and choose activities when busy.
Or negatively, kids can't pick and choose rules.
Right. It implies careful selection from options.
The gist. The main idea. Pronounced gist.
Yes, soft G, gist. If you understand the main point, but maybe not every detail, you can say, I get the gist of it.
Okay. Feeling unfocused. Scattered.
Your brain is all over the place. Captures that feeling of distraction perfectly, like after a really hectic day.
A can of worms. A simple topic that becomes complicated.
Exactly. You open it, and suddenly problems everywhere. Like the image. Talking politics at dinner was the example might open a can of worms.
Very relatable. Something amazing or surprising.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
Usually positive astonishment. The volunteer yoga teacher's example, their dedication blows my mind.
Okay. Doing something kind just because.
Out of the goodness of my heart. No expectation of reward, just pure kindness.
Like the volunteers or a neighbor bringing food, and the pronoun matches the person, my heart, her heart.
Crucial point, yes. Accountability, Being responsible, often with help.
Right. People need accountability for motivation sometimes. Gym buddies, study groups, finding someone to keep you on track. You can also be accountable.
Got it. Inconsistent quality.
Hit or miss, sometimes good, sometimes bad, like restaurant food being hit or miss, or the source mentioning American brushing habits seemed hit or miss.
Huh. Okay. And finally, I get it, meaning I understand.
Yes, but tone is key. It can be genuine understanding. I get it, you're tired.
Acknowledging their feeling.
Right. Or it can be slightly annoyed. Okay, I get it, fine, do what you want. Understanding, but maybe impatient.
The kimchi brushing teeth example showed the understanding tone.
Exactly. Wow, what a journey through language.
We really covered a lot, didn't we?
Yeah.
The alarm goes off.
Through seasonal idioms like nip it in the bud,
Talking about feeling old.
learning workplace politeness, avoiding what's up,
Facing the dentist. Knowing about cavities.
and adding those versatile phrases like a can of worms or something that blows my mind.
We really tried to take the material you provided and, distill those key vocabulary points, give you that shortcut to understanding how English is really used.
Because seeing them in context with examples, understanding the nuances, that builds a much richer understanding than just, well, memorizing lists.
And that deeper understanding hopefully helps you feel more confident,
Yeah.
sound more natural, navigate things more smoothly.
Yeah, it's not just the words, is it? It's the culture, the imagery baked into them.
Absolutely. So here's something maybe to think about reflecting on all this.
Yeah.
How much of learning a language is grasping that cultural context? The feeling behind phrases like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
How does learning expressions like these maybe change how you see or talk about things in your own life, your own culture?
Just a final thought to mull over.
We hope this deep dive into your sources has been really valuable for you on your English journey.